All right, I'm here with John with Dirty and Sturdy Fencing out of Niceville, Florida. And John, if you could just say like a little bit, about your company and how you got started with, what you were doing for marketing before, and then how you got started with us and what happened, and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a business, we were about 18 months to 2 years into business, and our word of mouth had been moving pretty well. But when you're looking at scaling, we had to look at some other options. We had tried to do some marketing on our own, didn't really get a good return on investment. And so, we seen you guys as a prime opportunity to bring a specialist in to handle our marketing for us because we just didn't have somebody internally that could do that and dedicate time to do it.
Okay, so and mainly before it was all word of mouth.
It was a lot of word of mouth and that's great and it does do well. However, when you're looking at scalability, onesies and twosies just isn't gonna to help you get to that next level.
Right, and it can be a little inconsistent sometimes too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, so and then you signed up with us, and then I guess what happened from there?
So before we were averaging, 4 to 8 estimates, maybe a week, and we had signed up with you guys earlier in the year, and kind of in a drier time for us. And within the first 24 hours, we were seeing 20 to 30 leads come through, and for us, it was almost overwhelming. But we were able to take those estimates and ultimately develop a process that allowed us to, sure, do 4 to 8 estimates a week but viable estimates that would potentially turn into contracted sales.
Hmm. So, and how many were you doing before?
We were hoping to get 4 to 8, but that was every caller coming in. We were putting an estimate in, so there was no process. It was just get in front of them and try and sell them a fence.
Right. And now you could be a little bit more selective, right? Okay. And for you, you were saying like, what was the cost? How much was it costing you per estimate to get a new job versus, now?
So before we were averaging about $200 to $250 per estimate. Um, you know, and that's with no marketing. And now with the marketing, we're averaging about 70 to $100 per estimate, but with marketing, we're averaging it's right around that $130 to $150 per estimate,
And closing more jobs.
and we're closing way more jobs.
Yeah.
So we're spending less and closing more because they've been vetted before we got there.
Yeah. So you're not having to waste your time with like, tire kickers and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. And how long does it take them to close now versus before?
So before, sometimes we're trying to hit them back with questions or trying to confirm contracts, 7 to 10 days. Now we're closing contracts most of the time within 24 hours because they were vetted before we even got there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what was it that was making it where you wouldn't be able to be as like picky before versus now? Is it just, I guess, just more like volume of leads? So then
I
now,
would say it is more volume. You guys also helped us expand uh, our our service area. So before, really, we were trying to focus on a real limited space. Given our area, it's about 15 to 20 miles. With you guys, we opened up to that 50-mile radius. We're reaching more customers. Uh, and honestly, for us, there's no time involved in that because you guys take care of it for us. So we
yeah,
expanded our service area by 30 miles, and and ultimately, that just draws a bigger customer base.
yeah, because then you're also getting referrals from the outside of that where those miles expand.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and so, that HOA that we did, sure, their neighbor's neighbor heard about it. And so we're just reaching more customers. And it's amazing because, sure, we'll get that word of mouth that customer says, hey, you did our friend's fence over here, and we seen your ad, and it keeps popping up on my Facebook. And so we figured it just keeps reminding me, hey, I needed to get a new fence. And so we reached out to you. And so it's amazing to go out to some of these customers and they're like, oh, we've seen your ads. I clicked on it one time and now I see it all the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%, man. The retargeting. Awesome, man. I guess anything you might say to somebody that like, they're hesitant. It's look, they don't. they don't know me or us, so it's like I get it. They have to spend the money and it can be scary, or just not know like if they're going to get results.
Right. What I would say is, it does take money, but that money comes back, with the accepted contracts. So sure, it may seem like it's a lot of money up front, but at the end of the day, those closed contracts, it pays itself back pretty quick. But even in those slow periods, it's not because the system's not working. And I think that was one thing that we really had to take in as well is, that week that maybe we only had 5 to 10 calls, but the week before we had 40 to 50 calls. It's like, okay, just let the process work. It's going to keep going. It may not be the marketing system that's not working. It's just the customer base is maybe not ready to spend the money right at that moment. And so, you just have to follow the process. After 9 months, we're doing more throughput. We've got more customers than ever, more locations, and we've just grown almost 200% this year by utilizing your guys' system because we just let it work. And the last thing I would say is, although the system itself may not be as readable to the business owner, you have to look at the picture from a big picture perspective. So while customers may not always click on the Facebook ad, you have to look at our website contact page has been crazy. Our contacts through our website have been 300 and 400% this year, and it wasn't because they just found us through Google, like searched us. It was
Yeah.
because they seen our ad 3 times on Facebook, and although they didn't click on it, now they're ready to get a fence and they remember seeing the ad. And so that correlation was the ad was doing its job, but it may not have come through the ad system, and so and that's we're just every day we're grateful, but every day I wake up in the morning and I mean we get requests from 2 o'clock in the morning to midnight sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sure, like you, you just, you take one day at a time. And this morning, actually, I think I woke up to 4 requests before 6 o'clock this morning.
Right.
And so my phone was going off at the gym when I was trying to listen to music. And it's just with the new leads coming in. And so it does work. You just have to let it work.
Yeah, love that, man. And the thing too that you pointed to that we don't always talk about either, the omnipresence and the multi-channel approach with Facebook and Google and being all over the place. A lot of times people see something on Facebook and then they go Google your company or they, look up your, it's like it's happens in so many different ways. So I love that you touched on that, and I love that you guys like I love and can appreciate that you really know your numbers too. Like the message that you sent over, I was like, this is awesome. Like, and that you're spending less, making more, and growing. It's great, man. So congratulations. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
No,
and
I appreciate what you guys do, and it's like the other day, my wife and I were talking about it, and I was like, I'm gonna send Patrick a message. I was like, because from their side, they see numbers, and I was like, but I don't think they truly understand what they've done for
mm,
our business, and so that's why I crunched some quick stats for you guys and sent it over. Like, hey, like I don't want you to think that, yeah, sure, the the system may not have, hundreds of contracted jobs through you guys, but it doesn't mean it's not working. It's,
yeah,
let me send you a complete picture of what's going on from our side. And
yeah.
because I mean, obviously we're all business owners and at the end of the day, we're trying to grow our own businesses and it's hard to do if you get no viable feedback.
True, very true. And yeah, and you knowing that and being a business owner, you know how much I appreciated that message. So thank you, man. Appreciate it. Congrats and appreciate you hopping on and doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.